Okay, my Nerdy-Nawg-Dawgs. We have been working on summaries since the beginning of the year, and it's a story element we absolutely must master. It will be on every state mandated testing from here to the end of your academic career. You will need it for middle school. You definitely need it for high school. We discussed a specific format by which to do this. And in this specific case, we started with the Princess and the Pizza. Remember that story? So we decided that this was the format by which we would write a summary, whether it is a story, a one-page essay, or a 29-chapter novel, okay? It's always following the same format. So we don't have to be a flowery writer when we're writing a summary. We have to kind of stick to the basics without giving too much detail, okay? So we're just summarizing. In this case with Princess and the Pizza, we could say the main characters are the Princess Paulina, the Queen, and the Prince by which she is supposed to marry. The setting is a small township. And the beginning of the story, Paulina wants to be a princess, so she enters the competition. Sure, she will win. The middle always includes a conflict. And in this case, with this story, the conflict was she realized that if she didn't win the competition, it would be off with her head. Then the ending is Paulina wins the competition with her fantastic pizza, and she decides, I don't want to be a princess after all. I'm going to be a business owner, and she opens a pizza parlor. Okay, keep in mind, no matter the length of the story, we're looking for a 5-sentence paragraph. Who are the lead characters? What is the setting? What happens in the beginning? What happens in the middle? That's the conflict, often includes the theme, right? And what is the ending? That's it, my friends. So we did it for homework early on with the Princess and the Pizza. We also revisited it when we had for homework several times and completed these in the classroom, was a one-page essay. It's almost harder to summarize this. These were only one page, in this case, 3 paragraphs. Remember reading about Reggie, the center of the lake, treading the water. Reggie can't understand how people choose to come to the beach. And then once they arrive, it took him a couple seconds to find the perfect spot. So this is harder to summarize because it's short. So in that short time, you have to talk about what the beginning is, what's kind of the conflict or the problem, and how does it end up. Guess what? You can still do it. I promise you. We went on to talk about points of view. Halfway through our reading for Island of Blue Dolphins, you guys had to summarize here at the halfway mark what happened in chapters 1 through 15. And then finally, we went to what was supposed to be our test, right? And I asked you to summarize the 29 chapters. We summarized orally in class. We actually went through and we identified all the parts. And then since Friday, both on Fridays and Mondays homework, I asked you to be sure that you were ready to summarize, knowing you would need to summarize Island of Blue Dolphins, chapters 1 through 29. Okay, so in class today, we worked on summarizing this book. Of course, you will need to do it in your own words, but we know we need to list the characters, the setting, what happens in the beginning, what happens in the middle, what the conflict is, and how does it end. Now, there is so much detail within our novel. You don't need to include that in your summary, okay? I know that the battle between the Alouettes and the villagers seems really important. In a summary, we just have to allude to those things. We do not need to include so much detail. And you guys are such amazing writers that you are wanting to do that. We just need to summarize the story so someone could pick up the book and say, okay, I see, beginning, middle, and ending. So in this case, if we're following our format, we would start with the characters, right? Here we go. The main characters in this story are Karana, a young woman, Rontu, a dog, the villagers, and the otter hunters. Don't need to include more detail than that. The story takes place on an island off the coast of Santa Barbara, California. In the beginning, there is a struggle with otter hunters, and later a ship comes and takes the villagers away. Karana and her brother are left behind. Oh no! And they have to figure out how to survive on the island alone. And then finally, after many years, a ship returns and Karana goes to Mission Santa Barbara for what she hopes is to be united with her family. 5 sentences, a summary. Remember, it doesn't have to be specific. It does have to cover the beginning, the middle, and the ending of the story. It does need to include a conflict. What's the major conflict in this book? She has to survive on her own. Do we need to talk about Ramo dying? No. Do we need to talk about the wild dogs? Not really. Those are details that we want to save for someone to read the book. But we do need to hit on the theme of this book being survival. Okay? Please make sure you can summarize. It's a much needed skill. You guys got this. I know that you can do it. It needs to be in your own words. And there you go. I have faith in you, my Nerdy-Nawg-Dawgs.